Hello, I'm Cliff, N4CCB. In this video, I want to try to clear up any confusion you may have about properly tuning your radio for transmitting Morse code. This is known as zero beating the other station, and we'll get to what that means, but let's first talk about why it's important. There are several good reasons why. If I'm not on the same frequency as the other station, our conversation is taking up more bandwidth than necessary, which is not a good operating practice, obviously. Second, if I'm responding to a station who's calling CQ, and if I'm too far off frequency, he may not hear me, especially if he's got a narrow bandwidth due to his use of a narrow filter. Now, that's a bad operating practice too, to call CQ with a narrow filter. But still, he would have heard me with the narrowest of filters if only I was on his frequency in the first place. One more reason, courtesy. Someone calling CQ hopes to hear the responding station somewhere around their sidetone pitch, which is generally their preferred pitch for listening to CW. If I, as the responding station, am not on that pitch, the person calling CQ has to either live with the pitch where I'm at, or they have to engage their radio's RIT, Receive Incremental Tuning Control, to adjust the received pitch. So if I'm not on his frequency, I'm causing him a little more work. All right, so being on the same frequency is our goal. Easy, right? Well, it's easy to tune a radio for voice mode. You just turn the VFO until the voice of the person you're listening to sounds natural. Turn the knob too far one way and they start to sound like Darth Vader. Turn the knob the other way and their voice sounds unnaturally high-pitched. With CW, it's a little different. With an unmodulated CW signal, if someone whose radio is in voice mode, AM or single sideband, if they tune to the exact frequency of the CW station, they'll hear nothing, or just some clicking or thumping. We can't listen on that frequency directly because there's nothing there except the unmodulated carrier, which has no pitch. In CW mode, our radios perform a trick so that we're listening to a tone that's generated on a different frequency, either by the BFO, the beat frequency oscillator, or by frequency shifting. Let's call this offset from the actual frequency the offset frequency. Now, this is not the same thing as sidetone. Sidetone is the pitch that your radio or keyer generates when you transmit Morse code. It allows you to monitor your transmission while you're sending. You can be way off frequency and listening to no one, but when you touch your key to generate Morse code, your sidetone frequency is heard. Well, nearly all modern radios have a menu setting that lets you adjust the sidetone pitch to suit your preference, and the default is usually somewhere around 600 Hz. Well, there's some good news in all this. In modern radios, the offset frequency follows the sidetone pitch. In other words, if you set your sidetone pitch to say 500 Hz, your radio will automatically shift your transmit frequency by 500 Hz so that you're transmitting on the same frequency you're listening to. This means that all you have to do to make sure that you're on the calling station's exact frequency is to tune your VFO until the pitch you hear from him matches the pitch of your sidetone. Now, here's something that can cause confusion. What if the other station has a different offset frequency or sidetone than I do? Let's say I'm listening with an offset frequency of 750 Hz, and he's using 400 Hz. Aren't we going to be 350 Hz apart when we transmit? Well, it might seem that way, but the answer is no. And it's because when we tune to the other station, our carriers are lined up so that we're transmitting on the same frequency. While receiving, our respective radios are each playing whatever offset pitch we've asked for. So when I'm listening to you, I hear you at 750 Hz. And when you're listening to me, you hear me at 400 Hz. But because our carriers are lined up, we're on the same frequency, and anyone who's listening to our Morse code conversation is going to hear the same pitch. Okay, so with the theory out of the way, let's talk about zero beating the other station. What does that mean? How do we do it? Well, the term zero beating means to tune your station to the exact frequency of the other station that you're going to talk to. This comes from the beats that are heard during the process of tuning two pitches so they're at the same frequency. As the pitch of your station approaches the pitch of the other station, you'll hear a dissonant wavering sound. The two pitches are beating against each other. As the pitches are closer in frequency, the wavering sound will slow down. And when the two pitches are tuned to the exact frequency, the beating will stop. There will be 0 beats. So let's take a look at an example of tuning to a CW station, and for this I'm going to use my Elecraft KX3. The KX3 has a spot button that, when touched, produces the sidetone pitch, which is also the offset frequency. When we turn the VFO knob to change the frequency, we're working to match the receive station's pitch to our sidetone pitch. As we get closer, you'll hear the beating of the two frequencies that are conflicting with each other. When we've aligned the two pitches, our carriers are aligned and there are 0 beats heard. We are 0 beat with the other station. The KX3 is unique in that it also provides a little graphic to help you tune. This is done using the CWT button. When I engage the CWT button, I can tune the VFO to line up the marker in the middle of the CWT scale. That will put me very close, if not exactly, on the correct frequency. The amazing little KX3 also has the ability to automatically tune to the correct frequency. Just engage the CWT button and then press the spot button. Boom. The radio moves your frequency to match the other station. You'll have to consult your manual to see if your radio has any special functionality to help you tune. If you don't have a fancy automatic tuning feature, all is not lost. You'll just have to match the other station's pitch to your sidetone pitch by ear. Now, unless you have amazing pitch memory, you'll need the ability to generate a reference pitch to remind you of the pitch of your sidetone. Like the KX3, your radio may have a spot button that generates the sidetone pitch to help you match your sidetone pitch to the other station. If not, there are a couple of other options. If your radio requires you to engage a control labeled break-in or Vox or something else in order for your key or paddle to send live code, you might be able to turn off break-in or Vox and have your key generate the sidetone pitch without actually sending dots and dashes over the airwaves. That way, you can generate a few dots or dashes off-air to hear the sidetone pitch to be reminded of it while you're tuning. If that's not available on your radio, you might consider a handy smartphone app that generates frequencies. I have a frequency generator app for my Android phone called FG for Frequency Generator that'll generate whatever pitches I want. I can set it to my sidetone pitch and then press the play button. This functions exactly the same as my radio's spot button. It lets me hear the correct pitch so that I can 0 beat the other station I want to talk to. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you found it somewhat helpful, even if just a little bit. Thanks for watching.